probably my favorite part of the day is the early morning time alone with God. And it's something I've cultivated for years. I mean, I told this to everyone on Sunday, but I took a spiritual disciplines class that Pastor Bill taught at Vanguard University when I was 19 years old. So at 19 years old, I was introduced to Richard Foster, Dallas Willard, Henry Nouwen, spiritual desert fathers. And we had to do quiet time every week or every day. We had to do journaling. We had to do fasts. We have to do silence retreat where we had to do 24 hours of not talking. And as a 19-year-old, you're like, what the heck? So we put like signs on our chest, like, I'm doing a silent retreat at the CAP. You remember that? It was so awkward. Like, dying. But it's here's that example where imagine if our youth, or your kids are learning quiet time, that this is how you connect with God, and you have this secret place to form deep relationship where you can be fully yourself and be fully known and to know God fully. And when you have the right view of God, which is what you're getting at, like, people go there thinking God's angry, he's a principal, he's going to be mean to me or waiting for me to mess up, versus he is just adoring you and he wants to pour over you your belovedness and remind you of your identity. Like, that happens in the secret place. That's what mostly happens in the secret place. And most Christians are so busy and so hurried and are so tired and exhausted, they don't have time to find that place. And I was using that example, and it was probably not hitting well, but like carving into granite the solitude space, like the secret place. Like, you have to carve time and make it happen for your life. So sometimes that's like 4:30 a.m. for me. I know for you, it's probably like, 1 in the morning when you go to bed or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
1 in the morning.
With all your free time. Never. Just kidding.
No, not at all. You were making a joke about, signs over your neck, and I'm practicing silence. To me, I'm like, what a great excuse to not talk to people as an introvert.
Yeah, exactly.
But
my face says that usually.
Let me lean into that for just a second, because as an introvert, and I'm naturally gravitating towards like my alone time, and I want, to hear nothing. I just want space and nobody talking. I'm not worried about talking at all. Sometimes I can confuse silence and solitude from what it looks like as, I was alone, therefore I spent time with God. Mm-hmm. And I think for an extrovert, that's like, corporate gatherings, I love jumping around and singing, but let me go to the wilderness because I'm with God. Yeah. For the introvert, they're like, I did that yesterday 3 times, and I didn't meet God. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there is a difference between being alone and then being alone with God. There's a difference between solitude or loneliness, as we talked about, and intentional space where you're encountering God. I would say it's set, it's determined, it's practiced as like a time dedicated. I love Abraham Heschel talks about in his book on the Sabbath. He says that Sabbath is like building a cathedral of time. And so if you think in the same way, silence and solitude, like you're literally creating a space separate from what would be naturally, quote unquote, filling you up. Like yes, you should go out into the, be alone with God in nature. 100% you'll connect with God. But what we're talking about is a regular rhythm of withdrawal to be alone with God. That's the purpose isn't your filling up time where you're getting away from the kids and the chaos of the day. It's the purpose. Is that a plane? I love it that we have a plane going. Your purpose is to be with God as a beloved. So that would be the difference, right? So it's intentional and there's space. And we talked about what to do in that space. So there's some parameters around that.